Sharad Pawar made headlines after he announced that he wanted to step down as the chief of the NCP, a position he's held right from the time that he formed the party in 1999. But if it wasn't this big announcement, perhaps the headlines would have been very different, because at the book launch of the second part of his autobiography, Lok Majhe Sangati, in that he's actually for the first time talked about what he thinks of Uddhav Thackeray. And it is something that will perhaps set back things for the MVA. Now, Sharad Pawar says that Uddhav Thackeray lacks political acumen and he failed to quell the dissent within his own party. He failed to actually quell the rebellion, and that saw eventually Eknath Shinde break away from the Shiv Sena with almost 40 MLAs and form the government. He also said that at this time, what was rather surprising for him was that Uddhav Thackeray did not even put up a fight. He quit at the first instance. And as soon as there was a rebellion that was brewing, instead of acting fast against it, and which should be done to maintain power, he says Uddhav Thackeray decided to quit. Another thing that he observed, and he talks about it in his book, is that in spite of being the chief of a progressive state like Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray would visit his office in Mantralaya, the secretariat, only twice a week, and his appointments also would be dependent on his appointments with doctors. So he does say that perhaps it was Uddhav Thackeray's health and his lack of experience that led to the decisions that took place and the decisions he took. And that's also a big factor. He also does not spare his own nephew, Ajit Pawar, reminding him of the 2019 rather forgettable swearing-in ceremony on an early morning when Ajit Pawar was sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra with Devendra Fadnavis as the Chief Minister. There was a huge crisis that erupted as a result of that, because this was at a time the MVA, not yet actually a formal alliance, but they were talking. The NCP, the Congress and the Shiv Sena were talking about cobbling together an alliance, and just before those talks could be formalized, Ajit Pawar became the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra for just a few hours. At that time, Sharad Pawar said that it looked like Ajit Pawar had lost patience because the talks were going nowhere, and it was because of that he took a hasty decision. But what he also talks about is that his nephew actually misused his name. He gave a letter saying 40 MLAs support Ajit Pawar and this decision, when Sharad Pawar says he was not in the loop on it at all. He also says that once he figured there was a rebellion, he called up all his MLAs and found out that they had no idea about what Ajit Pawar was doing. They all pledged their support to Sharad Pawar, and he quelled the rebellion in his own party. So two important highlights or headlines that would have come out from that book launch yesterday did not make it to the headlines, especially because Sharad Pawar made that big announcement that he wanted to step down as a chief of the NCP. He has now said he will take 2 or 3 days to decide whether he's ready to reconsider it, because that's been the appeal that many NCP leaders and workers have made to him.